a Central Florida native who was discovered at a young age.
I went from not known to being the #1 player in the country. I mean, it was just an incredible run.
Stoudemire and the finish.
Now this multi-talented all-star is back home, bringing the heat.
It's so much easier now to play here because I've been living here every offseason.
Look out below.
If I can become the best player I can possibly be, then that's going to help the team as a whole.
An author, actor, and fashion guru, we explore his creative side in Miami's art district.
Salud. Pull it, squeeze it. Okay, so how's that?
That's not good, but you'll get better.
A devoted father and an altruistic man off the court.
How you doing, man?
And it all stems from his spiritual background.
What it does is keep you mindful of searching and trying to become more righteous for the kingdom. I look at myself as an original Christian, someone who follows the entire Bible from the Old and New Testament.
Inside the heat, Amar'e Stoudemire. Welcome to Inside the Heat. I am Jason Jackson. I'm right here in front of one of the famous Wynwood Walls in the Wynwood district just north of downtown Miami. Of course, this part of town is known for its food, its art, and its fashion. The perfect place to visit and get to know Amar'e Stoudemire. In the summer of 2015, he signed with the Miami Heat as a free agent, and so we took him through Wynwood, places we know he would love. We started off at the Wynwood Kitchen and Bar to talk about Miami, fatherhood, family, and his charitable work through his foundation. Amar'e Stoudemire, welcome to Wynwood. This is a beautiful confluence of art and food and the history of Miami. And Mirka is here to help us go a little further with the depth and knowledge.
Absolutely. Welcome to Miami Culinary Tours. What we do is we want to show you the best of Wynwood. We're going to be walking through the walls. It started in 2009 with Tony Goldman. He saw a white canvas here. He wanted everybody to enjoy this style of art. But of course, I want to feed you first, right? You got to eat. So let's go into Wynwood Kitchen and Bar.
Let's do it.
Way.
Sounds good.
Get ready, guys. This is Miami on a plate.
That was good.
So what we have here are 3 examples of Nuevo Latino cuisine. This one is a ropa vieja empanada. In the center, do you guys know what that is? It's a maduro.
Maduro.
Maduro, have you had one before?
I have not.
It looks plantain,
Okay,
though.
so maduro is a plantain. Good going, Jason.
There we go.
It's a green plantain, but this is, ripe. And then the next thing is a Venezuelan street food item. Inside is this mozzarella style. On the outside is like a puff pastry. Guys, we say salud since we're here in the art district of Miami. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Salud.
Now, you're a Florida kid. Was South Florida ever in your view when you're growing up?
We traveled down here for a high school tournament, and Miami was a place of destination where we all loved to visit because of the beautiful scenery, the night lights. Yeah, it was beautiful.
So now that you're actually living in South Florida, what's it been like in the early stages?
You know, it's so much easier now to play here because I've been living here every off-season.
Are you already feeling the connection to Heat Nation?
Fans have been incredible. They have welcomed me with open arms. As we saw earlier, the guy hanging out the side of his van is like, yeah, Amare. So it's been a great, warm introduction.
Your family's very important to you. You knew that before you even arrived. Tell us a little bit about your wife and kids.
My wife and I have 4 children. My oldest daughter, she's 10. My son's 9. My daughter's 7, and my son's 2. So it's 2 and 2, which is great because it's equal balance.
What's their feeling about this transition? They've done it before with you.
We did it once before. From my Phoenix to New York transition. Right. So now they're more comfortable because we always travel here anyways in the off season. So their friends are still here, their home is still here, so it was an easy transition.
How important is your fatherhood to you, and what was the point that made it that way for you?
Well, it's always great to lead by example. There's an organization I teamed up with called Fathers Alive in the Hood because it's very important that we set examples for us to be able to become better fathers for our children.
What's it stem from for you when you look back to your childhood?
My father was a great dad. Yeah. He was a football coach, basketball coach. He died when I was 12 years old at a young age. My mom kind of took over the father role from there, but the family-oriented type of living was fun for me.
You all have a foundation as a family, the Amar'e and Amar'e Stoudemire Foundation. Tell us a little bit what it's about and what you guys are trying to impact.
Stoudemire Foundation is targeted to improve poverty through education. If children take education a little more serious and become a smarter generation, then now you can eradicate poverty that way. So we've been able to accomplish a lot of goals by doing that.
We noted just now that education is one of the things that's most important to you. And you have a series of middle school books?
Yeah, you know, I teamed up with Scholastic, and I wrote a total of 4 children's books. The motivation from that was to create a dialogue for the youth to get them to want to read more. So I wrote books that were more on their level. There was kind of swag that they would love to read about. I got so many calls, so many letters from parents saying, oh, my child would never pick up a book, but now that you wrote that, he read all 4 of your books and he loves to read now. So that's my satisfaction by seeing that. I'm here at Dillon Elementary. This is my first appearance as a Miami Heat. Can't wait to surprise him.
Your very first Miami Heat appearance was among young people getting back to their first day at school. How was that experience?
That was great. I mean, for a school to have turned around the education program tremendously the way they have, it was only right for me to team up with that school. What's up, everybody? Y'all good?
Just to know that somebody who is important or famous could at any point come in here and visit you and they can be a part of your real world, that real world experience is going to carry them far.
It motivates me to do good the rest of the year, so I want to say thank you because it gave me an opportunity.
Whether I'm playing this game of basketball or not, it's going to always be an opportunity for me to give back to the community. This is just another added bonus to what we do as a career.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. There's only one thing better than enjoying a good meal. It's preparing it before you eat it. That with Amare in a moment. But first, we take the big man who is a lover of fine art to a local gallery.
What's up, buddy?
Hey!
How you doing, man?
This is the art capital of Miami. There's over 80 galleries here. So Daniela, thank you for having us.
Well, as you can see, it's really like the force of nature and the search for the sublime that really what inspires me. It reflects a little bit the duality about life, because in the absence of light, they glow.
That's brilliant.
Clearly art plays a role in some of your off-the-court interests. What is it you love most?
Well, I mean, art is definitely a huge attribute for me because I collect art, been collecting art now for a while. And now to be here in Miami, to see the art that's here, it's pretty cool.
You are an artiste yourself in that you're an actor. What is it that you're drawn to in acting?
Acting is something I've been doing for quite some time now. You know, roles and films and different documentaries. So there's a lot that's been happening with the acting world, and it's a lot of fun for me.
What got you into it to begin with?
Well, I started off doing Stat TV episodes back in 2003. Stat TV, Amar'eStoudemire.com, watch it or watch nothing. And I think from that, a lot of production companies noticed my skill.
Trainwreck was one of those roles that are awesome because people maybe didn't even go into the film knowing you were in it, and then you just killed it. So how did that opportunity find its way to you?
Well, you know, Judd Apatow is probably one of the world's greatest directors. He told me I had a pretty significant role, and he would love for me to be involved, and we hit it off from there.
Fashion is something that you have stood out, to say the least. Tell us about your emphasis on your look and the feel of fashion in your life.
I just be myself, man. I don't do it to draw attention. My mother was a designer growing up, so just seeing her taste intrigued me to want to have the same. Dressing just kind of displays your character and who you are sometimes, you know what I mean? So it's always fun to indulge in creativity.
How did your co-designing experience with Rachel Roy come about?
Once I got to New York, we started to do some fashion endeavors. Tina and Rachel Roy, we did a collection, picked out fabric and buttons and stitching, and we went through the whole designing process.
I've seen the pictures of you in Fashion Week. Those, first of all, have to be great for your business. And then secondly, inspiration, I would imagine.
I never really thought that it would be as fun as it is. Traveling to Milan for Fashion Week, traveling to Paris, and it was an eye-opener for me, and it just grew to be something that the world took notice of.
After exploring the artistic side of Amare, we decided to move to another location in Wynwood, a local bakery called Zach the Baker, where we would both try to master another skill.
So we already mixed the dough together, and you and I are gonna see what we can do with shaping it.
All right, let's do it.
Our goal is to make it nice and tight. I'm gonna pull it and then squeeze it on the bottom to create the tension.
Pull it, squeeze it. Okay, so how's that?
That's not good, but you'll get better. That's not bad, man.
I'm still getting
Look at that.
sticky underneath.
Look at that tension.
That's pretty good.
I'll fix it up
Sticky
real
on the
quick.
bottom.
So there's an art to this, huh?
There is an art to it. That's better. See the tension you're building on it?
Nice. Not a bad experience. First time for everything.
This is definitely one of those. Amare, for you, when did the focus on food transition for you?
Hey, you know what? I had an injury back when I was 23. I started to become more conscious of what I put in my body and how to recover from injuries and persevere through them. And so that kind of propelled me to study nutrition.
We found that you have a cookbook entitled Cooking with Amare, 100 Easy Recipes for Pros and Rookies in the Kitchen.
Oh, you found that, huh?
We uncovered. It's called Inside the Heat, man. We go deep. What inspired the literary move?
For young men, I wanted them to understand that it's okay to cook. And my chef at the time and I was collaborating and just thinking about ways to get the youth to want to understand more about culinary, food and wine, and we released the book.
Now, one thing we did find is that eating kosher is important to you. Talk to us about the evolution of that.
I look at myself as an original Christian, someone who follows the entire Bible from the Old and New Testament. When you follow the dietary law of the Bible, it allows you to understand what kosher food or clean eating represents. I heard about it and I was curious, so when I did my own research and started studying myself, then I realized what the importance of it is. Then I felt the need to want to teach my family, so once I opened the book up to them and showed them a few things, they were open to it. It's a lifestyle that allows you to stay healthy, you know, and that's the key.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Our little welcome wagon for Amar'e Stoudemire was an all-out food fest. As we all know, food is sustenance for our body, but for Stoudemire, it goes a little bit deeper. You see, he is a spiritual man, which provides sustenance for his soul.
Are you hungry?
Yes, always,
Awesome.
always.
Never
Awesome. We have
stops.
plenty more. So right this
Exactly.
way,
Here, let me
we're
get
going
that.
into, right this way.
This is a tartine of grilled chicken with microgreens and baby arugula. And this is a Scottish salmon with shaved fennel and dill. Enjoy.
Chef, thanks a lot.
A legit thank you right here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gentlemen,
All right.
enjoy. You're going to love this stuff.
Thank you very much. Let me jump on this one right here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you named the place. Earlier, we briefly discussed heritage and your religious view and original Christian, which I love that terminology, by the way. How do you think the idea of focus in Judaism came up? Because it's a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah, I think because once I started celebrating the Old Testament holy days, people quickly associated me with being involved in Judaism. When truly it's just following the Bible from cover to cover. So,
How did your upbringing impact your focus now?
my mother was she's very spiritual. You know, she was dragging me to church every Sunday and
People don't realize
and Bible study.
Yes, sir.
And then so I was able to start to dive into it a little bit more and do more of a detailed study of the Bible, and that's when things started to change. It's called Dead Sea Mineral Oil. Supposed to help out with all injuries.
Your trip to Israel in 2010, 5 years ago already, is the best way to characterize it as influence or impact?
Well, you know what's funny? I was meaning to go to Israel since I was drafted. But every year I had something that popped up.
It's been something I've been planning on doing for the past 4 summers. I think now is a great opportunity for me to come visit the Holy Land, and it's been great.
I was free this summer before I signed with New York, and so when I went, the whole world took notice of it. And they saw me speaking Hebrew, and they started diving into my spirituality a little bit more.
A few years after that, you became involved in one of the basketball teams over there. Explain how that came about.
Yeah, a buddy of mine approached me with this opportunity to own a basketball team in Jerusalem. We bought the team, and we won our first championship this past year.
How cool was that?
So it's great. It's great. Once we won the championship, it was the first time Jerusalem has ever had a champion in the city of Jerusalem. So it was, they partied for 3 weeks straight. It was incredible.
They let it happen.
It was insane.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now we want to get you one as a player.
Now I need one as a player. That's the next step.
young player that may want to follow in your footsteps, but maybe doesn't have the same conviction or is just concerned about what other people think, what would you say to that young man?
Well, I would say, you know, first and foremost, if you're looking for a spiritual intake, just read the Bible, you know, from front to back, and do your studies and study yourself.
Amare still studies himself as well. He observes the Jewish holidays in accordance with the Old Testament's book of Leviticus. These holy days give him a chance to look within and better himself.
I think what it does is keep you mindful of you searching and trying to become more righteous in a world that being wicked is being celebrated more than you being righteous. So I think the more you're able to conquer that and become righteous, then the better off you'll be for the kingdom.
Amare practices what he preaches by positively impacting the community he lives in.
I've always given back. You know, I gave back to Boys and Girls Club. I built learning centers. I've went to local churches. I've been to the JCC. It's never really just one target group that I give back to. It's truly about giving back from the heart. A lot of things that I do sometimes never even get noticed. And I think that's more of a blessing because it shows that we don't do it just for the lights and camera action type deal. We do it truly because we care for the community.
Can I take your hand?
We get looked upon as elite athletes, and truly we are, but we also are kind-hearted and we want to give back the best way we can. We all are you know, genuine guys.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Amar'e Stoudemire's journey to the NBA began right here in the state of Florida. He's one of the unique guys that was selected right out of high school, but his years right before that had nothing to do with basketball at all. Amare, as you were coming up in Lake Wales, Florida, the basketball bug in Florida overall was just starting to really get its true foundation. So tell us how basketball was an influence for you in a state where football is everything.
You know, truly I had a passion for it since as long as I can remember. But we had no basketball program, nowhere in Lake Wales, Florida. So basketball didn't exist as far as organized basketball until I was about 13, 14 years old.
During that period, Amare's confidence and skill set would continue to build despite bouncing from high school to high school, until eventually settling in Cypress Creek High in Orlando, Florida.
From there, I went from not known to the top 100 player in the state, to the following year being the top 5 player in the country, to then being the #1 player in the country. I mean, it was just an incredible run.
A run that would include several individual accolades, among them being Florida's Mr. Basketball, as well as an invitation to the McDonald's All-American game.
That's when I knew, you know, this basketball thing is pretty incredible, and I got a chance to go straight to the NBA out of high school.
With the 9th pick in the 2002 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Amar'e Stoudemire.
Take us back to draft night. What was that like for you?
It was pretty surreal. Didn't quite know what to expect. I'm seeing all the top college players there. I was the only player out of high school, even at the draft that year. And then once he called my name at the 9th pick to the Phoenix Suns, it was remarkable.
As remarkable as his rookie season, playing in all 82 games, Amare's 13 points and 8 rebounds a game would go on to give him the NBA Rookie of the Year award.
What is the #1 takeaway you have from those 8 years as a Phoenix Sun?
I think the organization surrounded their guys with good veteran players, which allowed me to grow from that standpoint.
His numbers on the court would become a testament to that growth, becoming a 6-time All-Star in his 8 years in Phoenix, averaging over 20 points a game in 6 of those 8 years.
Amar'e Stoudemire, power and fury.
Next stop, 2010, you're off to the big city, you're off to New York.
The Knicks looking to win their 5th consecutive game. Here's Stoudemire with the emphatic slam.
How did your game change in that particular era for you?
My game changed a lot because the first year I was being myself. I played my style of basketball.
Stoudemire and the finish.
And my game kind of evolved from when I went and trained with Hakeem Olajuwon one summer. When I started to develop a back-to-the-basket, post-up style of play. I was beginning to become more comfortable with that role, and I was very, very efficient.
Amar'e Stoudemire starting his 14th season in the NBA. He makes his Miami Heat debut right now.
What was the thing that triggered with you and you said, you know what, I'm going to become a part of Heat Nation?
Speaking with Pat Riley about the family type of environment that the Miami Heat has and the goals of trying to win in team basketball, that's the key. And so hearing those things will automatically resonate with me, and I decided to sign with the Heat.
Sacrifice is the word that each year this team has won a championship has been so critical to the success. How important do you think it is for this edition of the Heat, and specifically for yourself?
Sacrifice is very important. Every player are great players in the NBA. And so when you get a group of guys that are that great at what they do, if you can find a way to get these guys to sacrifice certain parts of their game to better the team, well, now you're working with something. Now you got guys playing with high confidence, everyone's involved, and that's how you win.
Four minutes to go in the first. Look out below! With force, Amar'e Stoudemire's first score.
What do you want to do, your own words, to impact this team to move toward championship contention again?
Listen, my goal is to be the best player I can possibly be. If I can become the best player I can possibly be, then that's going to help the team as a whole. And then for the young guys, to show them what it takes to work hard, what it takes to sacrifice certain parts of your game. And that's something that's going to not only keep me motivated to be a better player, but it's also going to motivate him or the next guy up.
Stoudemire from Tyler Johnson.
I mentioned championship contention for this team. What is your goal for this team? What's realistic for this group?
I mean, the ultimate goal is to win a championship. And with a tough league nowadays, I mean, a lot of teams are stacked. But the most important thing for us, if we can just limit our mistakes and play smart and efficient basketball, then the sky's the limit.
Amar'e Stoudemire is the perfect confluence of art, many genres by the way, and basketball. After knowing him for about a decade and a half in the NBA, it was great getting to know him away from the floor. And here's one thing to know. Stoudemire will be front and center as the Heat continue to push for excellence all season long. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Inside the Heat. I am Jason Jackson. 3, 2.
Oh, pardon me.
Tighten up your game, Jax.
Check.
So how's that?
That's not good.
Not so much?
Not so much, no.
Hello.
Ready?
Just stop it.
So let's do it again.
Take 3.
One more. Right. I have nothing more, Your Honor.
Order in the court.
There it is.